So let's look at the tools we need. We need fresh gasoline, gloves and glasses, paper towels, a rag for the oil, Sta-bil, this is an additive for the fuel. We need new oil, 10W30 for this generator. If you want, we can use a solar battery charge maintainer if you're out in the woods somewhere where there is no electricity. Then we need a ratchet for the spark plug, one 10mm here for the carburetor. For the spark plug, we can use this tool. It's called the gapper. Phillips, a 10mm regular wrench is helpful. A funnel for the new oil, a Phillips screwdriver, and then maybe a brush or two to brush off some dirt. So the first step with this dry rag, we just wipe down the whole generator and get the dust off and make it nice and neat and clean looking. So in the manual it says to change the oil before we put this thing in storage, and usually you would go in here to the oil fill access door, open this door here, and then go in there. There's the oil plug, you can go in there. But because we also want to look at the carburetor, air filter and all that, we just remove the whole side door here in this case, and all we need there is a Phillips screwdriver, and we look at this whole thing. We only need to remove this screw and that screw. Phillips. So there. It doesn't fall out when it's loose. It stays in there, and the same with this one. So you unscrew it up to a point, it won't fall out. Very good screws. So then here, where the gasoline cover is, that's rubber. You can just peel this up and then pull on here like this. Pull hard and then unhinge the cover here. And now we have full access to the generator. So this particular generator has an oil screw down here. There it is. And the oil drains out here in the hole into this cavity below. And there's a plug down there here. And you see it there, the plug. That's where the oil comes out. So that's where you have to have a little container there to catch the oil. So we prop the whole machine up a little bit. So we fit a bucket underneath. And then, there, let's see from here. So I can remove the oil plug on the bottom. There it goes. So as a tip here, I usually only remove the oil plug and then tilt the generator over and let the oil drain out of this plug. So I don't even open that, because once you do this here and you wait, only this little bit of oil comes out of it. And of course you can see it's all brown and weird. There's not so much more coming out of it. And you save yourself this little gasket here. The little aluminum ring or copper sometimes that is sealing off the plug. So once we're done draining, we can clean this nicely. That cavity behind there a little bit, and then we can close that plug again up here in the bottom. It's like a car, kind of. And then we are ready to put the drain plug back in. So here we can see the color of the oil. You see rust and metal shavings and dirt. You can tell that this oil is no good anymore, right? Here for the undercarriage, the plug, that we don't get dirt in here. Oh, there we go, look at that. Nice and clean. Here it is. See this here? That's the plug that seals the hole. Look at that. So now we are ready to fill in the new oil. I removed the oil dipstick. So the dipstick is special. You can buy this on Amazon. It has a rubber gasket here. It's full metal and it has a magnet on top to catch all the bad stuff. Here we have the hole where we have to go in. For that we have this funnel there, and then we have to fill it up until it is up to this level here, right? Let me do that quick. So, after we change the oil, we put the oil stick back in, and I show you quick how this is supposed to look like, how much oil we have in there, or how much oil is supposed to be in there, right? So when you have the stick in here, you just push it in until you hit the thread there, and then you look, and there has to be oil on the tip. You can see here, there's oil on the tip, see that? Right? So you might think this is dirty, but no, it's just purple, right? And the oil that goes in here, I'll show you what I used. I used like almost half a bottle, 20 ounces. So we have here 4, 8, 12. So from 12 to 32. It was full, 32, and then I was down to 12. That's how much oil. You can see here the oil level. Can you see it? It's down here. So that's how much oil went in there. 20 ounces, okay? All right, let's go to the next step now. So now we filled this thing up with fresh gasoline. Right in here, there's our gas cap. You can see in there we have fresh stuff in there. All right, and then with this fresh stuff, we need to run this 10 minutes. We used the can here before we filled it up at the gas station. We use this stuff. It says keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, right? For 2 years, we have a 5-gallon canister. You see this, 5 gallons. And for 5 gallons, we need 2 ounces of this. It says it here on the back. How much you need in case you forget. 1 ounce treats up to 2.5 gallons, right? So we need 2 ounces of this in this canister. And that works like that. You open this side here a little bit. Then you push here. And then it fills it up here. See there, it's half an ounce. You take the cap off all the way. Like this, and then fill it in your gas tank. Now, you need 4 of those half ounces for a 5-gallon canister. And then this fresh gas, shake it so that it mixes. I mean, if you put this in an empty canister, the 2 ounces, and then fill it up at the gas station, that mixes this in really good. And then we fill up the gas tank here full. Let it run 10 minutes, right? So you know how to run this. There. Oh, it needs a little choke. There we go. It's running, right? We need this for 10 minutes that the gas goes through. So the gas, the treated gas with Sta-bil treated gas flows now into the carburetor that is back there. This here is the carburetor. Right? Can we see the carburetor? That's where this fresh gas goes through. That is very important. So we are now after 10 minutes. All the gasoline is in here now fresh. And we have a hose in here. This one here. This will exhaust old gas in the bowl here. This is called the bowl. And it lets old gas out of the bowl into the wild. So you want to put this in like a little container. It's just like one little small container here, the size of the bowl, where you let the gas out of the bowl, and then no bad gas can be in there. So this is for long-term storage, right? They have this here in the hole and leave it out in the wild because they don't care about the environment, but you shouldn't just run this into the environment. So now let's take a look at the air filter. In order to get this out, we have to remove this hose, okay? It's relatively easy. Here's the hose. And then we open this clip down here and the clip up here. And then we can jiggle the whole oil filter assembly out. Let me take a look at this. This one is perfectly clean. Look at that, a little bit there. You can wash that with water. And you get the debris and the dust out. Some people spray it a little bit with oil. And there we go. Now, if we want, we can take the oil filter housing out completely by removing those screws here, left and right, and then we can go to the carburetor if we need to. Oh. There's one screw here, one screw there. Let me show this quick how this works in case you have to get to it. Oh, I don't want to lose it. There. 2 M10 bolts, nuts I mean. And then we can take this one off. Oh no, it's also down here. Sorry about that. There's another screw down here. That is a good filter. Have to get this screw out. So there's a little more of this assembly involved. There it goes. That is actually a bolt. So now we can take this whole thing out. The only thing is here, the hose is in here. There we go. Oh, it came off here. So now we have the whole oil filter housing out, and we can see the carburetor. So you can use this here. There. There it is open, and then gasoline will drain out of this hose. There it's coming. See this? So this is only the gasoline what is in the carburetor. So, and I use the 10mm. You saw how tight this was. Oh, it's leaking fuel. Well, there we have it. Now we can take the bowl off. Okay. There's a seal here. You see there's a hair on there. You see the rubber seal. It's there. Don't want to have anything on it. And you see how clean or dirty the bowl is. See that? You can also see where, when we open this drain valve here, it will remove the fuel from here. So it will still sit a little bit down here, but not on the important parts. So let's look at the carburetor. You can see the yellowing of the plastic part here. That's the part that always is in the gasoline. It always sits in gasoline when the generator sits still. And if we remove the gasoline from this bowl completely, then that is not going to happen. And it's better for all the parts involved, to be honest. When you have the carburetor bowl open, make sure this thing is in the off position. Because every time you turn this on into run and restart, it will fill up the bowl with gasoline. So when we put this back together, we need to make sure that the ring is correct and doesn't fall off, you know. And we put this back in here. You can feel it when you move it. Okay, make sure that the red seal is on there, the gasket. And then we screw the screw back in. If the generator does not run, you need to put air through those nozzles in here. But this carburetor looks really good. It's a sign that the fuel additive really works. Make sure that the seal is here, the gasket, undamaged. Clean on this side. A little bit of gasoline over here and oil is good. Okay, and then we put this screw back in and those two. And down here you can see the clip that clips in the other pieces. So this goes through here. It's kind of funny where it goes on the other side though. Okay, there. We put the bolt on here first, down here, just for a few windings. Okay, and then here M10. One goes there and one is here on the inside. It's easy to find. Well, of course we have to do the ones in here. We determined already. This goes back in first. I don't know why it doesn't stay where it's supposed to stay. So, this one clips in on top, there, and then down here, the clamp, there we go, and then this hose has to go back on, there, and I'm using my pliers again. There it goes. Let's back to where it was, and now The air filter is good again. There we are, look at this. Is this the right size? Yes. So we see here that the spark plug is already corroded the ring. So it makes sense to replace it. Oh, this is dirt. Let's check the copper. That's where we are. So the manual asked for a teaspoonful of oil. Okay. Oh! That was more. Sorry. This is hard. So a teaspoon is this. That's a teaspoonful. Okay. And I put this in the spark plug hole. So we give it a second to roll down there. So now you're supposed to pull here. Slowly. So now of course we put the spark plug back in here. Take the first few turns by hand and then we use the machine. There we are. Quarter turn and we're good. We just have to kick this out and put the plug back on here. Check for damage in here, and they make stuff to put some lotion on there, but I don't have it. But it's pretty tight and good, the rubber, so it's sealing good. Up here in that hole. Hole there, hole here, hole there, a little bit oil on it. Right, and then we go in here with those hinges, lift up the lid, and then you see how smooth that pops in. And here we go. Those two screws tighten on this side, and the screw here tighten on that side. There we go.